At 0200 hours local time, 3 Ukrainian UJ-26 Beaver drones were screaming deep into Russian airspace on a mission that was statistically impossible. Their target was a 38-car military ammunition train idling at the Salsk railway station, fully loaded with artillery shells, rockets, and highly combustible diesel fuel. But getting there meant flying straight into one of the most densely layered air defense networks on the planet. The sky was saturated with electronic warfare, signal jamming, and radar sweeps designed to blind, hijack, or incinerate anything crossing the border. The drones had completely lost their global positioning system and satellite access hours ago. They were flying blind in terrible weather, relying entirely on internal guidance and the iron nerve of operators sitting hundreds of kilometers away. The mission brief demanded they navigate a labyrinth of invisible threats where a single mistake, a drift of just 1 kilometer or climbing a few meters too high, would instantly trigger a fiery death. The Russian commanders guarding the corridor thought their airspace was impenetrable. They had layered S-300 batteries, Tor-M2 mobile air defense systems, and heavy electronic jammers to create a wall of invisible energy. But the Ukrainian planners were not trying to break the wall. They were going to slip right underneath it and strike the very heart of the supply chain. The first invisible threat the drones encountered was the formidable Repellant 1 electronic warfare system. This mobile jamming station acts like a digital vampire, designed specifically to detect drone control signals, overpower them, and broadcast false commands to hijack the aircraft and drive it into the ground. A global positioning system signal arrives from space with roughly 20 watts of power, which is incredibly weak, making it remarkably easy for a Russian jammer to simply shout over it with broadband static. But the UJ-26 Beavers were not listening to the static. To survive the electronic onslaught, the Ukrainian drones utilized rapid frequency hopping. Instead of staying on one communication channel, their receivers and transmitters switched frequencies thousands of times per second. Imagine trying to have a conversation in a crowded stadium where you and your friend change your spoken language every millisecond in a prearranged mathematical sequence. A listener might catch a single syllable, but they can never intercept the sentence or inject their own words. The Repellant 1 system screamed its hijacking commands into the night sky, but the drones simply danced around the interference, maintaining their precise course toward the railway station. The electronic warfare screen was supposed to be the ultimate shield, but against an enemy that refuses to stay on one frequency, it becomes nothing more than useless noise. To further fracture the Russian defensive picture, the Ukrainian planners executed a masterclass in misdirection by splitting their initial 6-drone formation into 2 distinct groups. While 3 drones pushed south, the other 3 formed a northern decoy group that deliberately made itself visible near the heavily trafficked M4 highway. This was not an accident. It was a highly calculated provocation. By flying slightly higher and generating a consistent radar cross-section near a major logistical artery, the northern group lit up the screens of every air defense battery in the sector. This forced the Russian commanders into an agonizing dilemma. They had to either concentrate their finite missile batteries and attention on the highly visible threat to the north, or hold their fire and risk a breakthrough elsewhere. Every second they spent analyzing the decoys was a second they were not looking low and south. While the northern group absorbed the tactical attention, the southern strike package was exploiting terrain masking along a winding river valley. They flew at an extremely low altitude, hugging the contours of the Earth to stay physically below the radar horizons. Because radar waves travel in straight lines, and the Earth is curved, flying low enough puts a physical wall of dirt, trees, and water between the aircraft and the searching radar dish. They were using the planet itself as their armor against the machines. Executing this southern river valley route required a level of precision that bordered on the impossible. Intelligence analysts had meticulously mapped the coverage zones of the Russian S-300 and Tor-M2 missile systems, identifying microscopic blind spots where the overlapping radar umbrellas failed to meet. The 3 southern drones had to thread the needle through these invisible gaps in the dark without satellite navigation, relying purely on pre-programmed inertial navigation and visual waypoints. Flight parameters were absolutely unforgiving. If a drone climbed just 15 meters too high to clear a power line, it would instantly crest the radar horizon and appear as a blinding strobe on a Russian screen. If it drifted a few hundred meters wide of the riverbed, it would fly out of the terrain shadow and into the engagement envelope of a Tor-M2 battery, capable of firing a missile in less than 10 seconds. The operators were effectively flying a high-speed wire act over enemy territory, where the wire was made of complex mathematical calculations and the safety net was non-existent. The drones pressed deeper into the corridor, maintaining their staggered altitudes and tight formations. The decoy operation to the north was working flawlessly, drawing the electronic eyes away from the valley. But the real test was waiting for them at a critical electrical substation near Orlovsky that powered the entire grid. Approaching a critical electrical substation near Orlovsky, the Southern Strike Package faced its most dangerous obstacle yet. This facility was not just a waypoint. It housed a massive 330 kilovolt transformer that powered multiple regional air defense sites, making it the absolute linchpin of the Russian defensive network in the sector. To bypass the local early warning radars, the drones executed a highly dangerous maneuver known as radar gate threading. They deliberately flew up and briefly exposed themselves over the ridgelines for just a few seconds, registering as fleeting anomalies on the enemy screens, before aggressively diving back into the terrain cover. This rapid pop-up tactic prevented the Russian radar computers from maintaining a track long enough to classify the targets or build a firing solution. The operators were essentially playing peekaboo with multi-million-dollar early warning systems, teasing the sensors just enough to progress forward without triggering an automated launch sequence. But the substation itself was guarded by a final, deadly layer of point defense. Two Zu-23 anti-aircraft guns were positioned to protect the transformer, and while they lacked sophisticated radar guidance, their manual optical tracking made them highly effective against slow-moving targets like the UJ-26 Beavers. Knowing the Zu-23 guns relied on human eyes and manual aiming, the Ukrainian planners orchestrated a coordinated pincer maneuver to overwhelm the defenders. One drone abruptly climbed, deliberately drawing the glowing streams of tracer fire and the gunner's attention upward into the dark sky. The pilot executed a daring barrel roll, exploiting the predictable linear paths of the tracers to force the Russian gunners to constantly overcorrect their aim. While the sky was filled with desperate defensive fire, the remaining two drones approached at extremely low altitude from opposite directions, squeezing the defenders in a lethal trap. One drone slipped inside the perimeter at a low angle, while the other expertly threaded its way between the high-voltage transmission lines, a maneuver that forced the remaining defenders to hold their fire or risk destroying the very infrastructure they were trying to protect. In a fraction of a second, three shaped charge impacts struck the massive transformer from completely different angles, hitting the base, the top bushing, and the main control cabinet simultaneously. The synchronized detonations ruptured the heavy cooling oil jackets and triggered a catastrophic cascade of electrical arcing that lit up the night sky. The resulting explosion knocked out substations across the entire region, causing a massive blackout that instantly degraded regional radar coverage and forced emergency generators online. As the blackout rippled outward through the Russian grid, the sophisticated air defense units protecting the Salsk railway station, specifically the advanced pantsir S-1 systems, abruptly lost all networked targeting data. Stripped of their integrated early warning feeds, these lethal missile batteries were instantly reduced to isolated nodes, operating with degraded optical sensors and highly unstable power supplies. Taking full advantage of this newly created chaos, the Southern Drone Group pressed their attack by exploiting infrastructure masking. They flew directly along the railway lines, where the massive steel rails and overhead power wires created intense physical and electromagnetic interference, allowing them to maintain an altitude just below the primary search beam of the localized radars. Their arrival over the target area was perfectly timed to coincide with a known 0230 hours shift change among the Russian crews, a psychological stroke of genius designed to maximize human confusion at the exact moment the automated systems failed. With global positioning systems completely denied, the Ukrainian pilots navigated visually using the steel tracks and terrain features in the poor weather, pushing their aircraft through the blinding rain toward the 38-car military train waiting in the dark yard. Inside the isolated pantsir S-1 command vehicle, panic set in as the battery voltage dropped well below safe operational thresholds, forcing the crew to attempt a desperate missile launch in full manual mode. Their first attempt completely failed to leave the launch tube due to the electrical faults cascading through the vehicle. The second attempt managed to ignite and launch a missile, but the weapon rapidly lost its command guidance mid-flight due to the severe power instability, sending the multi-million-dollar interceptor spiraling wildly off course into the empty night sky. To further overload the already struggling human operators, the Ukrainian drones initiated aggressive scattering maneuvers, violently rolling, climbing, and diving in unpredictable patterns. This deliberate chaos exploited the fundamental human limitation of focusing on a single erratic target while operating degraded manual optics under extreme stress. The defenders were trying to swat flies in the dark with a broken flashlight, and every erratic movement of the drones forced the gunners to reset their tracking solutions. With their backup power proving completely insufficient for sustained combat operations and their missiles flying blind, the Russian point defenses effectively collapsed, leaving the massive ammunition train completely exposed to the incoming strike package. At 2:41 in the morning, the 3 surviving Ukrainian drones converged precisely over the sprawling Salsk railway station, an expansive logistics yard now cloaked in darkness and absolute confusion following the deliberate regional blackout. The power grid serving the sector had failed minutes earlier, plunging signal towers, switching arrays, and perimeter floodlights into lifeless silhouettes. What had once been a humming artery of military supply was now a blind and silent expanse of steel rails and shadow. Below them sat the ultimate prize of their deep penetration mission, the 38-car military train heavily laden with artillery shells, unguided rockets, and thousands of gallons of volatile fuel destined for the front lines. The train had been staged for rapid onward movement before dawn, its cargo meticulously organized for immediate redistribution to combat brigades. Now, immobilized in darkness, it presented a concentrated mass of explosive potential. To severely complicate any last-ditch targeting solutions from the scattered and degraded Russian defenders on the ground, the drone operators deliberately staggered their attack altitudes. One drone approached at exactly 50 meters, another at 100 meters, and the final striker loitered high at 150 meters. This vertical separation meant any surviving anti-aircraft gunner would have to completely reset their elevation and lead angle for each individual target, a nearly impossible task in the pitch black without functioning radar assistance. The blackout had severed not only illumination, but also key sensor feeds, forcing defenders to rely on fragmented thermal optics and auditory detection alone. The sky above the yard was moonless, the drones little more than faint mechanical whispers descending from layered darkness. The lowest drone initiated the terminal dive sequence first, angling sharply downward toward the massive steel locomotive at the head of the train. With pinpoint accuracy, guided only by the operator's visual recognition of the steel tracks faintly reflecting ambient starlight, the aircraft slammed directly into the massive diesel engine compartment. The shaped charge instantly vaporized the heavy steel casing, severing the primary fuel systems and utterly destroying the mechanical heart of the train, permanently immobilizing the 38 cars on the tracks. A blinding flash erupted at rail level, followed by a concussive blast that echoed across the empty freight yard. Shattered fragments of engine block and turbine components scattered outward, embedding into nearby freight containers and signal posts. Within seconds, thick smoke poured upward, illuminated briefly by the glowing embers of ruptured wiring harnesses. With the massive military transport completely paralyzed on the rails, the second drone immediately began its terminal descent from 100 meters, executing a highly calculated strike designed to weaponize the train's own cargo against it. The operator specifically targeted a heavy fuel tanker car positioned strategically upwind from the densely packed ammunition carriages. While raw diesel fuel does not typically detonate explosively upon an initial kinetic impact, the intense force of the drone strike sheared the heavy steel tank wide open, sending thousands of gallons of highly flammable liquid pouring rapidly across the steel tracks and the rocky ballast below. The cascading sparks from the crushing metal instantly ignited the sprawling pool of diesel, creating a massive, rapidly spreading inferno that began to aggressively heat the underside of the adjacent cargo cars. Flames rolled outward in expanding waves, feeding on spilled fuel and wind currents, casting violent orange light across the entire rail complex. The heat signature intensified almost immediately, turning the immobilized train into a long, superheated conduit of steel and munitions. Sensing the rapidly developing thermal event below, the third and final drone pitched over from its 150-meter holding pattern and drove itself straight through the reinforced steel roof of a cargo carriage packed entirely with 152mm artillery shells. The shaped charge punched right through the armor and detonated inside the enclosed space, initiating a catastrophic internal explosion that instantly vaporized the carriage and its deadly contents. The confined detonation amplified the blast pressure, transforming the sealed wagon into a fragmentation bomb of immense magnitude. A fireball burst upward through the torn roof panels, sending molten steel and detonating shell casings spiraling into the air like incandescent shrapnel. The sheer thermal shockwave from the penetrating blast violently ruptured the adjacent carriages, completely overwhelming their structural integrity as the burning diesel fuel outside continued to superheat the steel boxes. Within seconds, massive sympathetic explosions began to violently cascade down the entire length of the 38-car transport, as artillery shells and unguided rockets cooked off in a terrifying chain reaction that sent shockwaves rippling through the dark Russian countryside. Each detonation triggered the next in relentless succession, the rhythm accelerating as internal temperatures reached critical thresholds. Rail lines twisted and buckled under the force, and entire freight cars were hurled from the tracks, cartwheeling into adjacent sidings. The resulting secondary blast completely obliterated the Salsk railway station, flattening warehouses, demolishing loading cranes, and shattering windows in residential districts kilometers away. A massive plume of thick black smoke billowed high into the freezing night sky, visible from distant highways and nearby town. Emergency sirens began wailing only after the primary detonations had already consumed the yard, their sound drowned repeatedly by subsequent blasts. This perfectly coordinated series of strikes, from the initial transformer blackout and the subsequent air defense degradation to the precision targeting of the logistics hub, demonstrated a terrifying new reality of integrated warfare. By combining extreme electronic resilience with terrain exploitation and split-second timing, the Ukrainian planners effectively dismantled a seemingly impenetrable defensive network. The operation unfolded as a synchronized sequence of infrastructure disruption, layered aerial assault, and precise munitions employment, each phase compounding the vulnerabilities exposed by the last. Despite official government claims insisting that multiple incoming drones were successfully intercepted and neutralized by local air defenses, widespread video evidence emerging from the surrounding towns revealed a thoroughly devastating and completely successful strike. Footage captured towering fireballs erupting in rapid succession, shockwaves rattling buildings miles away, and secondary explosions continuing long after the initial impacts. The scale of destruction was unmistakable, the inferno illuminating the horizon like a rising artificial sun. This catastrophic event highlighted the fatal vulnerabilities inherent in highly advanced, network-dependent military air defense systems, the exact moment their underlying critical infrastructure is suddenly disabled. In a matter of minutes, a complex and layered defensive shield had been rendered blind, fragmented, and ultimately irrelevant, undone not by overwhelming force, but by calculated disruption and precise execution.